Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Sabres of Infinity, Chapter 5, or Part 6 of this series. I know it's been a while since my last post, but they will be coming more regularly now. Once again, if you haven't already seen the previous episodes, I would suggest seeing those, as we're basically reading a book here, and you'll be lost. But if you don't care, or you already have, we're just going to get right in with it. So, Chapter 5, wherein the cavalry officer must choose betwixt his honor and his duty to his Terrarian Majesty's army. Alright, in spite of your increased opportunities for new duties, you decide to remain on patrol duty for another year. Of course, this year, things will be different. With the outpost expanded into a full base of operations, the tempo of life has picked up. You cannot even drop by the enlisted barracks to check on your men without bumping into some newly arrived officer, happy to establish an acquaintance. With the new faces come a new attitude and new superiors. With Sir Enric Hunter's promotion to major, he no longer had the time to direct individual patrols. Instead, he must deal with a member of his newly appointed staff, Captain Daniel Dahl Lefebvre, a harsh and cynical man whose blunt and caustic manner strikes a sharp contrast with a gentlemanly Major Hunter. Over the next few weeks, the outpost expands dramatically. The newly arrived engineers build several wood and stone bunkhouses to shelter the new men. A high log palisade is raised, and the cozy little camp which had served as your home for the past year is no more, replaced by a bustling little fortress complete with merchants, promised, and a house of ill repute. Your patrol duties are temporarily suspended as new patrol routes are planned and accommodate the vastly expanded supply network linking the outpost to Norianga. You notice that Sergeant Lansreal does not get along well with some of the new arrivals. One of the two newly arrived junior officers seem especially disagreeable with him. One day you are told that Lansreal has struck an officer, a newly arrived ensign from the 4th Foot. The hastily convened board of injury quickly finds the officer at fault and acquits your sergeant. Your reputation among the outpost officers suffers for being unable to rein in such a loose cannon. After nearly a month of inaction, you finally called upon Captain Leafrew's office to receive your new patrol route. Alright, looks like just overall Lansreal's fighting people. Not good. Standing our reputation, but that's fine. They're being scum, then let him do it, I guess. The planning office stands in the center of the outpost command building. The large room with a stone foundation and a massive map table in the center is the closest thing that the outpost has to a central meeting area or a ward room. It is here that you have been ordered to report and receive your patrol order. A pair of grenadiers are loaded muskets and fixed bayonets guard the door at all times, protecting the room and the valuable maps, reports, and classified files stored within. As they see you approach, both snap to attention and take a moment to ensure that you are indeed who you say you are before stepping aside and allowing your entrance. Right? As you walk inside, you can plainly see that the maps on the table have been arranged for your benefit. Seeing you enter, Captain Lefebvre orders you to approach with a jerk of his chin. Upon closer inspection, you pick up the two routes traced in the larger sheet of parchment. You clearly recognize one route, the one positioned along the road headed east from the outpost. As the road to Noriega, the path which you had first arrived at the outpost when you were first assigned. The other seems to be more irregular, making a rough circuit around the area, with stops marked that you assume to be villages. Captain Lefebvre is clearly in the worse mood than usual today. He explains to you coldly that the outpost's increased garrison and responsibilities come with a greater need for supplies and warning time in case of an attack. As such, both the length and number of patrol routes are to be doubled. Patrols which had previously taken 1 day are now to take 2, covering a vastly increased area. Seeing as you and your unit have seniority over the most recently arrived cavalrymen, the freebie offers you the choice of 2 patrol routes, the shorter, more monotonous one heading eastward, and the longer, more circuitous westward route. I picked the eastern route. Me and my men could use some easy duties for a bit. I picked the western route. More arduous duty will keep the men in fighting trim. Yes, fighting trim. We apparently just took a break for a month of doing nothing, so let's take the longer route. That might be the better option. The The western route is indeed a difficult one, made up of narrow game trails and dusty country roads. The rough terrain helps keep your men on edge, and they learn to work more closely as a team by guiding each other's horses along treacherous defiles and helping each other ford swift, dangerous streams. Your new route takes you to a series of Atari villages nestled in the hinterlands. You cannot help but note with disapproval of the squalid conditions in which the Atari serfs live. Lord of the Congress, which ruled over these sad individuals before the arrival of the king's army, has kept them barely able to feed themselves. Foe dwellings are crude mud and straw huts, and their public buildings small and cramped, compared to the comfortable wooden cottages and well-kept villages squares in the rural area. The Atari settlements are downright primitive. Having been so thoroughly impressed by your former masters, it's no wonder that the serfs treat you and your men with the greatest friendliness. Despite your complete inability to understand or speak the Atari language, they accord you on every patience and comfort they can when they visit. Your men are always counted on a place to sleep under some poor peasant's family thatched roof. Alright? Fortunately, the local landlords and landowners and freeholders, or at least those who do not flee north, seem less enthusiastic with the presence of the king's soldiers. In your few encounters with the local nobility, they are cold, distant, and even outright hostile. They meet you with furious glares and spit at you when you pass them on the road. Though the king's regulations prevent you from exacting satisfaction for such insults, you cannot help but sense your men growing increasingly angry at such affronts. Worse yet, it seems that these insults were the least of your problems. Peasants begin telling you of militias forming in the forest, led by lordlings and freeholders taking orders from their banished overlords. They tell you stories of shadows and noises at night, stolen livestock, and vandalized fences. More distressingly, they also tell you of their friends or neighbors hired by the king's army to serve as wagon drivers, disappearing in broad daylight on the old imperial highway. Conditions of the outpost itself all but confirm these rumors. You are told that supply wagons are being waylaid with alarming regularity. Without the men or resources to escort the supply runs, the outpost stores have run dangerously low. By the end of the summer, you are being regularly ordered to purchase foodstuffs from the friendly peasant villages. One day, as the muddy heat of the Atari summer finally begins to fry under the cool breeze of early autumn, you are woken early in the morning by a haggard-looking runner in the burnt orange of the Grenadiers. He gives you orders from Captain Lefebvre. Lefebvre. Dude, all the names in this are so hard to pronounce. Alright, we'll just call him Lefebvre for now, until I'm corrected or whatnot. You are to gather and ready your men for an immediate sortie before reporting to the captain for special duties. As you cross the parade grounds, you are ready to ready your horse. You notice that the grenadiers are already packed in ranks up by platoon, as if for inspection. You saddle Bullseye and see grenadier sergeants, swagger stick in hand, carrying out careful and exact roll call of their men, not just ones on duty either, all of them. Would cause so much distress as to require every single grenadier to the outpost to be so roasted and counted. Upon entering the enlisted barracks, you round up your men. You see them all huddled around Sergeant Lansreel's bunk. Oh man. Alright. They're all listening in rapid attention as their sergeant speaks in chipped, hushed tones. They're clearly discussing something which they do not want unwelcome ears to hear. You decide to eavesdrop. My men should keep no secrets from me. Approach them. Yeah, or give orders and stay out of it. I'm gonna approach them and be like, what are you talking about? I mean, they're my men. If they don't, I'll slit their throats. No, but hopefully they tell me. You step in closer and make yourself known to your men, asking them straightforward exactly what they are talking about. For a moment, you get no reply. Then Sergeant Lansreel stands up. With all due respect, sir, I don't think you want to know. It is clear that your men rather not tell you exactly what they are up to, how exactly you plan to get the straight answer for them. Try to convince them, bribe them, threaten them, back off and give them their orders. I kind of want to threaten them because they're my soldiers, right? Let's look at stats real quick. My soldiering. Okay, yeah. Okay. Their discipline. Okay, their loyalty is higher than their discipline. So I think I can convince them better. I kind of want to know. So I'm gonna try to convince them. You try your best to convince your men that it is in your interest to tell you, but they can't seem to change their minds. They refuse to budge and insist that it is not something you want to know. Frustrated at every turn, you end up giving the men your orders and leaving without a single word of intelligence gained. Dang. Not high enough. As usual, you find the captain in the planning office with a mug of strong tea in the hand and a sheaf of reports in the other. The man seems unreasonably preoccupied. In fact, you dub it you've ever seen him in a state of such anxiety. He has not even noticed your arrival until you snap your heels in attention and report yourself ready for duty. The captain looks up. Cornet Castleton! About bloody time, I need your men for some delicate business. Lefrebe explains that the supply wagon from Noriega was supposed to arrive the morning before. A few hours or a day's tardiness could be chalked up to a broken axle or a poor stretch of the road. But to be delayed more than a day on a journey only supposed to require 3 is something else entirely. Your orders are to lead your unit down the old Imperial Highway to Noriega in an attempt to find the wagon and hopefully escort it the remainder of the distance to the outpost. These orders seem more than a little strange to you. Supply wagons have disappeared before, but never with a reaction from the captain, more than a dismissive shrug or a frustrated glance. To send out a patrol so early in the morning to search for a single missing wagon feels almost like overkill. Okay. You ask the captain if that will be all. The freebie seems to wrestle with himself for a moment before he shakes his head. There's one more thing, Cornet. 6 of my men have disappeared in the night. Oh man, the captain waves a sheaf of parchment in their hand at you. They have taken with them their muskets, shot, and powder. If you find them, they are to be apprehended and returned to the outpost under escort and restrained. They are to stand for trial for desertion. Is that understood? Suddenly, everything makes sense. The freebie does not give a damn about the wagon. Your real mission is to bring back and find these deserters. Yet, that itself seems strange. Only a fool would try his luck in a massive and openly hostile country like Atari if they did, and if they did, they would certainly take more than their weapons. As the freebie seems to know more than he is letting on, you try to convince him, threaten him, or accept my assignment as face value. Once you're gonna look, my charisma is pretty high. I don't know if it's high enough. I mean, this guy is supposed to be pretty cynical. And I have 58 charisma. But nevertheless, yeah, I'm just gonna try to convince him, even though that didn't really work last time. I probably should accept it, but I'm gonna try to convince him to get whatever I can. I don't really want to threaten people. Yeah, okay. You attempt to convince the freebie to tell you exactly what he is trying to hide from you, but it is no avail. Cornet, this is a situation far above your station. You've neither the warlike talent nor the patronage to play any more than just a little part in what I have ordained for you to play. Follow the orders that you have been given, and ask no more questions, or I shall be giving you no more answers to them. I shall give you no more answers. You are dismissed. Alright. You find the men assembled and waiting as you step out the courtyard. Quickly settling and mounting up on Bullseye, you take the lead, as you have hundreds of patrols before, riding out the main gates towards the old Imperial Highway 2 hours after dawn. The next 4 hours are uneventful. You and the men kept ready eyes for anything out of the ordinary on the road as you make your way up on a measured pace. After a few hours, the midday sun begins making itself known, surrounding your tiny column with a miasma of hot, muggy air. Finally, about noon, you hear noises, a voice shouting in terrain. You spur your horse forward and turn the bend. Our guys, I guess. As you come across a sight which you will not forget in a very long time. The first thing you see is a missing wagon, tipped on its side with one wheel spinning slowly, midway breeze. The next thing you see are the remnants of the drivers. You hear someone swear roughly behind you. The peasants hired to drive the wagon, 2 men and a woman, or at least you think it was a woman, have been disemboweled, mangled, and beaten beyond identification. Their shattered remains hang from the low branch of a carved tree, the rough shape of 2-headed eagle, A guitar is carved into the chest of each of the murdered peasants, leaving no question as to the allegiance of the perpetrators. So shocking is the scene and the cruelty that it takes you half a minute to see these two men in their orange jackets and bearskin coats are grenadiers approach. The grenadiers approach desiccated corpses. Yeah, I can't read. I'm going to reread that. So shocking is the scene and the cruelty that it takes you half a minute to see the two men in the orange jackets and bearskin coats of the grenadiers approach the desecrated corpses. Still struck dumb, you watch as one of them cuts the body down with the knife. You see the grenadier toss the body form into the ruins of the wagon, as the other one sits around a pile of the kindling, clearly trying to start a fire. The grenadier by the cart sees you and your men and looks back. His hand darts to his musket lying against a nearby tree, drunk by instinct, before catching himself recognizing the gray and red tunics of the Royal Dragoons. The infantryman scrambles over to you, sketching off a quick salute. His sleeves carry 2 chevrons of the corporal of the grenadiers. We found these poor folk just hanging like that. His voice is full and barely suppressed anger. Must be a bloody Atari freeholder raiding again. We're just giving these poor souls a proper cremation, so that they can meet the saints of peace. And the presence of these men is beyond odd. The grenadiers have no reason to be outside the walls of their assigned post, and the nearest garrison in your town at the River Caron Bridge. No doubt they are your men you are looking for. More importantly, out of half the dozen you were supposed to look for, only 2 are present. You can't help but wonder what happened to the others. Odd indeed. What do you plan to do about it? Follow my orders. Render whatever assistance I can and escort these men back to the outpost. Question them about their missing comrades. Man, everyone's telling me to follow my orders. I wish I could ask that guy for advice. My CEO. I'm gonna ask them. You step forward menacingly, your hand resting on the hilt of your saber. Your men follow your lead. I was told that 6 of you had left the outpost. Where are the rest? You are facing a charge of desertion, and usually that's a hanging offense. If you help us find your accomplices, I will see you are treated leniently. You have my word as an officer and a gentleman. The grenadiers whisper among themselves for a few minutes. Their hushed words grow more and more panicked until finally one of them speaks. Well, sir, we were along the road when we found the grisly scene. The sergeant flew into such a rage that he ordered us to stay behind and give the body some respect while he and the others hunted down the bastards responsible. The grenadiers points out to a slight opening in the trees tilted around the road. They went through the stir. The corporal points out the sad sight of the suspended bodies. Might you help us with these poor folk, sir? I'm sure the others will be back. Trust them or not? Should I trust them or should I not? I think I will, because of stats. Not trying to get my charisma or reputation to be literal. So I'm gonna help them with the bodies. I don't actually know what it changed. Probably nothing. Alright. Yeah. Probably my ruthlessness. My mercy. Okay, my mercy went up. You find no objection to giving the poor teamsters a proper cremation. The idea you work create a big fire enough to incinerate a human body and set it alight with the flint and steel. Working in twos, you lift all 3 bodies by their arms and legs and toss them into the burning heap of wood. The 3 bodies are almost gone before the 4 grenadiers stumble out of the woods, smelling of gunpowder and wood smoke. They surrender themselves as soon as they see you. Hey, worked out. You tie the 6 grenadiers up on a rope as they brought with you. Yeah, with the rope you have brought with you. The trip back is uneventful, even calm. The captain grenadiers remain quiet and obedient, almost cooperative. It's certainly strange behavior for 4 soldiers who are supposedly trying to escape the king's service. It takes you until nightfall to bring them all back to the outpost. You report to Captain Lafrebe with your men fed and prisoners' duty returned. You report to the captain of the grenadiers' side of the story. He assures you that they will receive a fair trial, although privately, he confides that he doubles they will be convicted of anything serious. Terry is too much in need of fighting men cornet. Get the king's justice, but perhaps not in a form strong enough for some. Dismissed. You will return to your cabin and fall asleep almost immediately. The next day you return to your dreary patrol route. The partisan attacks continue throughout the summer until finally, with one offset of the rainy season, The Army's high command begins assigning escorts to the supply wagons. No matter how bold, the partisans seem unwilling to attack a wagon guarded by half a dozen infantrymen. A few days after the first snow of the year, Major Hunter announces with some relief that there will be enough supplies to last the winter. As winter turns to spring, it is once again time to choose your next year's duties. Request cavalry reserve duty. Seek promotion to lieutenant. Now, I forgot the requirements for lieutenant. I think it's something to do with money, and I don't think I have enough. I think it definitely required a lot more than $109. My income's 5 per year or something like that. 5 per day, 5 per week. I don't know what my income is, but glossary of terms. Okay, that would be a little bit more. I'm just gonna seek promotion because if I get rejected, then it sucks to suck. I get maybe some less charisma or something. I don't know. My reputation's at 24, so we'll see how that changes. Unfortunately, you lack the wealth and reputation to gain an early promotion. Okay, no. I'm glad I didn't get rejected. The game told me straight out. Yep, Cavalry Reserve. You inform Major Hunter and your men of the decision the next day. Okay, well, that is an uneventful episode. No battles, or anything like that. And no real big decisions, I don't think. We didn't really have any big decisions besides the fact that we totally missed out on seeing what our men were talking about in the first place. Probably something that would have been really good to know. Probably something that has to do with the deserters themselves. But I guess we'll figure out soon enough whenever the game wants us to. Yeah, once again, not really once again, but thank you for watching. And there'll be new episodes coming out soon. Probably within the next week or within this upcoming weekend. Alright, yeah, leave a comment if you liked it. Let me know. And bye-bye.